We do it when I say. This is my Spider-Man discussion. Haha. Yeah. So welcome to the Twinstiq Game Club, motherfuckers. Today we're going to be talking about 2005's. Yes, Happy New Year and happy 12-year anniversary to Ultimate Spider-Man, the game. Not to be confused off the comic book series by Brian Michael Bendis, although you could easily be confused by it because he actually co-directed this game. Yeah.
Back when the Ultimate Universe was actually good, because the only Ultimate Universe stuff at the time was actually Ultimate Spider-Man, and in the beginning of its run, it used to be really, really good. Mm-hmm. And then they took a shit all over it.
Yeah.
But hey, that's Bendis!
But Parker's death in the series was actually really, really well done. Anyway, Treyarch developed this game, even though it was directed by Brian Michael Bendis. Brian Reed also being another comic book writer who had not previously worked on video games, did Spider-Man Origin and some Ms. Marvel comics. But Treyarch, for whatever reason, reached out to them, said, let's have you direct a comic book game as comic book creators. Treyarch had previously developed Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2, the console tie-in games for the first two Sam Raimi films.
And they were both pretty good games for what they were.
The first one was pretty abysmal, but the second one has the best web swinging in a Spider-Man game to date.
Well, coming to defense of the first game, you could web yo-yo in that, and the graphics were pretty good at the time.
You could web yo-yo, but you could also web swing from the clouds.
Yes, well, okay.
I wish this game had that.
You wish you could web swing from the clouds?
Yeah, because you talked about how great the web swinging was, and I freaking hate it.
Oh, really? Well, we'll get there, because Spider-Man 2's is much, much better, and this one's a ridiculously oversimplified version of it. But we'll get there.
Okay.
Yeah, so I played this back when it came out in 2005, was slightly disappointed with it being an inferior clone to Spider-Man 2, because a lot of the same mechanics and stuff that's in that game are in this game, but we'll do more on that later. We're going to bring up Spider-Man 2 a lot in this talk. The only reason we didn't play Spider-Man 2 is because the PC version of Spider-Man 2 is not the same as the console version. It was developed by a completely different studio, and it's horrible. Yes, it's
really?
Horrible.
Wow.
Horrible.
Is there no port of the console version on PC?
Nope. You have to install Dolphin, and I didn't think that would be something that everyone here could do very well. Anyone else have any exposure to this game before we played it for Game Club? Jordan?
Me! It's me!
No, I didn't even know this game existed, but I really liked the GameCube, so I mean, it was like, I'm surprised I never saw it.
Yep. This originally came out for GameCube, PlayStation 2, Xbox, PC, and Nintendo DS and Game Boy Advance, I think. The PlayStation 2 version actually has a secret ending that the other versions don't have, where you learn a little bit more about Brock's dad and his ties with Trask.
Huh. I didn't know that.
Ending was a little bit abrupt.
Yes.
But we'll talk about that.
They apparently had some sort of deal with Sony, and they needed to give them some exclusivity rights for something, and they didn't have any other assets to give them, so they just cut out a couple cutscenes from the other versions.
Exclusivity stupidity strikes again.
Yep. Yeah. It started 12 years ago and is still roaring strong.
Yeah.
But I want to start off before we get into some of the game mechanics, which everyone's going to have some nitpicky things to talk about. I want to talk about some of the art assets, particularly animation.
Love it.
Yeah. Holy crap, the poses and animations they do with Spider-Man.
Animation, though.
Sure.
There is and it's a big problem, too, because it's immersion breaking. Is when they talk, the mouths move at different speeds.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, it's a GameCube era game.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's definitely a product of its time. Like when you're looking at the mouths,
the facial animations, no, and cutscene animations, meh. But all of the movement animations and stuff like that, the fighting and the web swinging,
it's fantastically smooth. It's very
really well put stuff.
Like so I'm the old person here, right? There's an old person, and there have been attempts at doing Spider-Man games before. But I think this is the one that kind of gets the motions the most right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, the feel of the fluidity of the swinging of the
I'm gonna
webs.
give you one
and-
correction there, the second most right, but we'll
Okay,
more on
fair.
that later.
Okay.
Actually, I think the animations are actually better in this than Spider-Man 2. That's one of the one-ups I'll give it. Also,
Yeah, I like it. Also, I like the cell drawn
Yeah,
art.
this-
I mean,
this-
it's
Yeah,
like,
that-
Yeah,
that's
so,
feel-
so I
it
want to
fits.
talk
It's
about
very
the
comic
art.
book. I like it a
Mhm.
lot.
The art, especially for me, because at the time I was reading Ultimate Spider-Man.
Me too.
Okay.
And I kept up with Ultimate Spider-Man until basically that universe death of Peter Parker. I thought it was stupid.
Oh, see,
Yada,
I
yada, yada.
cried so bad when Parker died.
Well,
in
no,
that
it's not that
universe.
I read it. That's when I stopped. Like I felt like that's the end.
Yeah,
And
I was
then they
I was
forced
excited
Miles
for I was
Morales.
excited for Miles, but he's just boring. There's nothing wrong with Miles.
Anyways, I'm getting off track. So this isn't a comic book podcast.
No.
So, but at the time I was actively reading Ultimate Spider-Man, and you can somewhat tie this into a time frame of the Ultimate comic books, loosely, not perfectly.
Yeah.
But the art style is basically leapt off the page.
Yeah,
You
it's
know-
really cool. It
Yeah,
looks very comic
it's
the
book.
really
game
cool.
I like
feels
these.
like a 3D comic strip.
Yeah.
The only thing that I think looks kind of weird are the web strands themselves, because the cell shading size is the same size outline for everything else.
Oh
So
yeah,
you've
yeah.
got like a giant black line with some web in between it. I
Yeah.
think they
Yeah.
probably could have half the size of the outline for that. But that's my only critique of the entire aesthetic of the game. I think it looks great.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. And I know it's off terms a little bit, but still artsy. But the music really fits the game.
Hmm.
I like that as well.
Yeah, some of the sound effects are excellent, and some of them sound kind of meh.
Okay.
The combat
we're talking
the
about-
combat effects just kind of sound like a guy going like this.
Yeah, they're a little lame.
Yeah.
But the thwip, the web thwip, oh man,
Yeah.
that's a
That's
good
so
sound.
good.
It's a good sound.
That used to be my alert sound on my cell phone for a while,
Thwip.
and it actually came from that game.
Oh, cool.
It's like, yep.
Yeah.
I thought the voice acting too was pretty good. I was not enthralled by certain characters like Venom when he's actually Venom.
Yeah.
I actually want to talk about, and this is my complaint. I'll get there, but it's all in all my complaint with Ultimate versus Venom. But I'll get there because I have a problem with.
Well,
I have a
we
problem
can
with that.
we can discuss that when we get to story and stuff.
Yeah.
So, I think the open world kind of hurts this game a little bit. In Spider-Man 2, there was a lot of stuff to do, but in this one, you really only have races, brawls, and then random city events that happen.
And the random city events, there's only like 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's only like rescue this person or the other alternative is something terrible happens and you need to stop it.
Beat up a
Yeah.
bad guy.
Or every once in a while, Shocker is trying to break into something, so you have to.
Yeah.
beat him
That is
up.
always hilarious, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really
Herman!
like the
Herman, what
clips
are you
and stuff.
doing?
I do like that they happen a bit more naturally. They in Spider-Man 2, there would just be like a red dot that appeared over a pedestrian. You have to go talk to them. They'd be like, "Spider-Man, someone's about to fall," and then everything else in the world would basically disappear, and you'd go save someone from falling. And in this one, they happen a lot more naturally. You just swing it along, and someone's hanging from a ledge, and you're like, "Oh well, shit! I gotta save that guy." Or there's like a gang like trying to kick somebody
And
off
they're
a
trying to
cliff.
beat them up, yeah.
So I think that's pretty good, but
I thought that that was okay, but the problem that I had with it was that it felt like they were doing a little bit too much filler. You know, they were trying
Yeah,
to
there's a
pad
lot of
out
that.
the
they
game. to get you to
definitely
the story
pad out the
missions.
game because they force you to do the side missions in between
They do,
story missions.
because the way it works, for those people who've never played the game, is that it wants you to do so many of X objectives before it'll feed you the next bit of story. And the problem with this is, unfortunately, you don't know how much story you're going to get. So sometimes what happens is you'll do a whole bunch of side missions, like 4 of them or whatever,
and you get
and
a
then
cutscene,
it will be like
and that's it.
a cutscene that's like 2 panels long. And you're like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, that was not worth
You
it.
need to do 3 more city missions and then do a race with Johnny Storm, and you need like, oh my
Yeah,
god, come on.
I hate the races, by the way.
They're so
fucking stupid.
bad. They're way easier with
Yeah.
Spider-Man, but when you have to race somebody on your Venom, oh my god, it's the most.
Okay, so
frustrating
this
thing
is
in
my
the
problem
world.
with a lot of games is I don't like forced racing in
No.
games that are not racing. Like,
Yeah.
Especially
for
since
instance,
it's the same mechanic over and over again.
and
Right.
so for instance, let me so it's here. It's those Johnny Storm races. I hate them. Same thing with say like Ratchet and Clank, where to progress the story you have to do those
The
hoverboard races.
Yeah.
And like
Or
I
Banjo.
hated it. Or basically any superhero game has some sort of racing aspect to it.
They're
Right.
usually like on the
Yeah,
side
because somebody's
though.
got to go waving their dick around like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
so much faster
And
than you.
again, I'm
there you
gonna
go.
bring up Spider-Man 2. The same fucking developers did this the last game
Oh, no.
in 2004, where they were like, there was one required race mission, just one, and then they were like, if you want to do side races, they're there for you. We got tons of them. Have at it, or just play the game. That's it.
Yeah.
And then it was like that with everything in that game. It was like, we're gonna introduce this to you once, and we have a giant fucking story to get through.
And
all
the
you have to do
problem-
is
Yeah,
unlock the
there's
next
a
mission.
mechanic
problem-
that if you like, you're welcome to try it and have fun
Yeah,
with it.
keep
But
doing it.
we're not
if you
going to
want
force
to.
it on you. I
The
think that's
problem-
much better.
Mhm.
The problem with it in Spider-Man, it's the same problem when I was playing Saints Row 4. That was the superhero one, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
There's racing missions in there too.
Ugh.
Like with Spider-Man, like especially Ultimate Spider-Man, the web slinging is so like you have to be precise. So it's easy to keep failing these racing missions
Yeah.
because you'll accidentally veer off to the right when you meant to go left.
Or you don't know
Yeah.
what kind of race mission it's going to be. Like, sometimes you'll start a race mission and you're immediately like, all right, let's start swinging. And then you realize, okay, I should probably just
I have
jump.
no buildings.
I should
Yeah.
I should just jump from building to building, and it'd be way faster than trying to web swing. Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And like the same thing was with Saints Row 4 is like your super speed or whatever, because a lot of them had to deal with either hitting all these checkpoints in order with your super speed or getting to one side of the map to the other in a certain time frame. Was the controls are so sensitive that if you mess up even an inch, you fail.
Yeah.
And one of my biggest complaints about Ultimate Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2, or any superhero game for that matter, is or any game that employs it, is these idea of forced racing. Like everybody likes these.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Even Knights of the Old Republic has a fucking race. Segment.
You're
Yeah.
lucky you
So-
didn't play Superman 64.
Oh,
No, I did.
I did.
I
do
did.
that.
You're forgetting I'm the Superman.
all those rings, man.
All
Okay.
those
All those
freaking
rings.
rings.
So yeah,
The worst part about Superman 64, I'm a huge Superman fan. When I was little, it was one of the few games that I had on N64, and I
Yeah.
thought maybe I just sucked. And
No,
I'm like, I
the
have
game
to
was
love this
terrible.
game because I love Superman. I love Superman the animated series. Man, I played. Oh,
right.
that's another story.
Yeah.
That's
So
another
yeah,
story.
the required missions suck. Anything anyone else want to talk about before we move on to the web swinging mechanic?
Yeah. The
yeah,
only
there's-
other thing that go George.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'll go after
So the
you.
only real problem that I had with this game, everything about it is more or less great except for the forced missions. But I get why they did this, but the voice for Spider-Man felt terrible,
I
and that was
disagree.
the
I
only
I don't know. I
problem
thought it was
that I
alright
really
because he's
had.
like a
I liked
16-year-old
him.
kid. That's
Yeah.
kind of what he
Yeah.
sounds like
He's
to me.
going
so.
to high school in this game too. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was my only
I was
problem.
alright
really.
with that.
Yeah, I mean, I can see
was-
why
he
someone would be
Quippy
annoyed with
and
the
he was
voice,
quippy and funny and silly and yeah, I like that.
but not
Okay,
mean spirited either. You know, he
Yeah,
felt he
right.
still
Yeah.
it always felt like he was being
I didn't
quippy
know your
to
name
hide
was
his fear.
Herman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked his lines. I just didn't like his.
How
inflection
did
and
you
the way he
rip a
spoke
hole in
them.
the butt? Oh, I don't know. After you're done patching up my butthole, can you...
So you know the funny thing about the person that voiced Peter in this game is actually he was if you ever watched the show, and I used to love this show, he was the voice of Mac from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
No.
Oh, wow.
I never saw that.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know if you ever watched it. I used to love that show. So
yeah, that was a cool show.
Foster's is very good. It's worth watching. It's it's a very interesting.
I'll check
little
it out.
TV show.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there. Was because when I went back playing this, I'm like, God, that voice sounds so familiar.
Okay.
And then I went and checked, and I was like, oh, that's Mac from Foster's Home. Of course, I love the voice.
Yeah.
And then he also was the voice of Squid from Rocket Power. If you ever watched.
Yeah, he's Squid.
He's Squid.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to the way
there's-
you actually play this game. Is you move Spider-Man, of course, around the world. You do that in various ways. There's jumping, and double jumping. There's web zipping, web swinging, and wall crawling.
I love his explanation for double jump too.
Yes,
yeah, sure, it breaks the rules of physics, but so do I.
Yeah.
So this was the one thing that I loved more about Spider-Man 2, the game, was every time that they introduced a new mechanic, they brought you into this like dream world, and it was Bruce Campbell.
It was a danger room. It's a danger room.
Yeah, it's the danger room, and Bruce Campbell was the one narrating it.
Bruce Campbell has about 30.
Jump,
Bruce Campbell has about 30 hours of VO in Spider-Man 2. Like in this game, when you walk around in Ultimate Spider-Man, when you collect like a token, you guys probably collected those like hidden tokens and stuff like that.
Of them.
Well, in Spider-Man 2, you could collect one, and Bruce Campbell would just start talking to you about history of New York or the history of Spider-Man and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
It was awesome.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
it was
great. Really cool, and you could just still just swing around the fucking city listening to Bruce Campbell talk. It was great.
So my big thing is was now I confuse them sometimes, so you'll have to forgive me.
Oh, that's fine.
Was this the one that you could slingshot yourself from one side of the city to the other, or was that 2?
That's 2. So
okay, thank you. All right.
I
liked that mechanic.
Yes, and the reason I'm interested in let's save web swinging, because me and you've played Spider-Man 2, and so we have that web swinging in our mind, and then we go to this one and we think, okay, it's not quite like that, but it still works sort of the same, so it's fine. Yeah. But I want to get the perspective of these two who haven't played Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
How did you guys fare with the web swing and the web zipping?
So like I said, I hated it. But here's the thing, right? I have not played this with a controller yet. I mentioned that to you.
Don't. Oh god.
Yeah, it was bad. I don't like the keyboard.
I played this without a controller. It's designed for a controller.
The camera's already really bad.
I get it. Yeah, the camera's just too sensitive.
And then
Most everything else works
acceleration.
okay.
Yeah, everything else is fine.
But
so
there are problems with movement, and then having to like press F at the right time or something. So suddenly I can't move to the left, to the right, and press F at the same time.
Yeah,
to jump onto a building. But the thing about the web swinging to me was not so much the web swinging itself. That was like I said, playing with keyboard and mouse. So that was right click, and it just attaches to whatever is nearby. That works. Mm-hmm. That's wonderful. I like that. What I don't like is that it says, oh, well, you can climb it if you want to, or you can boost and go faster if you feel like it.
Yep.
But I had the hardest time trying to do both of those things. Also, turning.
Yeah.
Turn.
The turning and stuff, you kind of have to go, okay, so if it's just like a physics thing. If you have a fucking ball and a string attached to something, you drop it from the left side, it'll swing towards that way. Whereas if you attach it to another side, it'll swing towards that way. So you kind of have to.
But you can't. But you don't have any choices to where that web connects to. I can't say, okay, I need it to connect to that part of the building, so I can go around the corner.
If you are directing Spider-Man to the right, he'll grab to a building on the right. If you point it to the left, he'll grab it to the left.
All right, but what I'm saying though is, so for instance, the race with Johnny Storm, I lost the first one because I was trying to go around a corner, and instead of going around a corner, I just fell in the river and died because apparently Spider-Man can't swim.
No, he can't.
That's a reoccurring joke in almost all Spider-Man games.
Yeah. Except he doesn't make the joke in this game. And in the second one, every time you get in the water, you'd be like, oh, God. Oh, he screws up my suit. But this one, you just fall in the water and you just get out. There's no quips or anything. Yeah, it's a bummer.
Yeah. So the problem was I don't have any choice as to where the end of this is going to connect. And I know it would be really stupid probably to make like a slow motion and double connection.
Well, no, you do. When you're not web swinging on anything, Spider-Man's just flying through the air about to fall. If you're holding the stick to the left, he'll
I get direction, left or right. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But to say, okay, I need it to connect to that corner right there in that spot on that building, you can't do that.
No, it's not a precise thing. It usually just goes to the closest thing it can on the building.
Right. Okay. With that being said, I want to bring up Jason's point of view. So, it wasn't a great Spider-Man game by any means necessary, but the first Amazing Spider-Man game, the tie-in for the first movie, they actually had a first-person view that slowed down time, and you could precisely aim at characters, and you could precisely aim like where you want to shoot your webbing if you were falling from midair.
Sure, and that's really
cool. That was cool.
That's really cool, except for that you want to do that all the time, so you're constantly having to play the game in slow motion, which is pretty
that wouldn't be very fun.
You know, I know that this is 2005, but I'm looking at games like Just Cause.
Yeah.
That do that spectacularly well.
I've never played Just Cause.
With the grappling hook.
I specifically bought this up when we were starting to play it, and I talked about it a little bit in the Slack, but my biggest problem, and the thing that I had to wrap my head around, was it made the most sense to me that the way this should work is that when you hit the left mouse button, he should just shoot a web from his left hand. Yeah. When you hit the right mouse button, he should just shoot a web from his right hand, and he should just glom to whatever he happens to be.
And then you could do the Spider-Man thing of...
Yeah, and then you could just go boom, 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 left, right, and it would be great.
You can do that with Venom.
You know what's funny, though, Gray? You could do that in Spider-Man 2. Right trigger was right hand, left trigger was the left hand, and what you could do is you could even do one, and then keep holding it and do another, and then rock yourself back and forth like a slingshot, and shoot yourself across the fucking globe.
Yeah, see, that's epic.
Yeah,
and so getting the hang of the control system was a bit weird and took a bit of getting used to.
I have no idea why they didn't take the time to bring in the entire new the entire website.
I started off playing it on a keyboard and mouse and hated it, and then
I've got to try it with a controller because I do think it'll be much better with a controller.
But just bear in mind that the mappings with the controller are a little weird, and you're gonna have to get used to them because the way it maps things is. It's not Xbox 360 pumped, so you're going to have to test your buttons before you're happy and reset them until you're happy. Yep. And that was the only way I could play it. It worked out pretty well after that. There were still issues. There's a fight against the electronic dude. Electro. Where you have to smash his sources of power. And that was, even with a controller, it was a little bit of a tricky thing.
Yeah.
Oh, no, Electro. That's Electro, not... Yeah.
Not Shocker.
Electro.
Keyboard and mouse. I mean, this game is really fun, and actually, I mean, the port is done really well. Keyboard and mouse works. You know, the camera is too sensitive. You have to turn that way down, but otherwise, it's okay. The problem I have with it basically is that Peter Parker needs to move around. Okay, that's WASD, just like it's been since Quake 1.
Mm-hmm.
But then to actually fight is Q and E. So all you can do there is move forward and punch or kick. You can't strafe or anything like that on the key. So don't play it on a keyboard and mouse. That's my recommendation. Because it's not going to work very well.
God, if it was on the keyboard for
or just maybe remap it to your mouse or something. It might work
if it was ported better, because I was hoping I could play this with keyboard and mouse, but they just didn't do anything with the mouse acceleration or anything like that.
Yeah. It's not. It's not terrible. Everything works smoothly, and there's a lot of remapping options. It's not like they just lock you in and like, okay, this is our bullshit controls, and you have to use that.
Yeah.
But you can change things.
My turn. I have one big gripe with this game, and I since day one. And this isn't just storyline wise. Storyline wise, I didn't really like Ultimate's version of Venom. But with that being said, I hated playing as Venom. I felt like they were trying to capitalize on GTA, and they were trying to capitalize on Hulk Ultimate Destruction, which is a great game. But that is not Venom. Like, I am all for Venom.
He's totally Hulk. He jumps really far.
Yeah, like, so
doesn't swing with tentacles.
It frustrates me that he didn't have web slinging. He had his tentacle that could drag him towards something.
Yeah, he had web zip, because the only other web option you have with Spider-Man is web zip, which is where if you hit left and right trigger at the same time, you do a straightforward vertical shot that kind of slings you forward. It's good for low rooftop stuff if there's no big buildings to web swing around. But that's all Venom can do web-wise.
Yeah. So I have a big gripe against playing as Venom. Number one, it stems from the fact that I don't like Ultimate versus Venom or Carnage.
Yeah.
And
the symbiote should be an alien. It shouldn't be a fucking
so
shouldn't be a science.
But with that being said, I don't like playing as Venom. I don't like you having to consume people to keep playing as Venom.
How evil is that? The first guy you feed on is a little kid.
It's a kid.
How terrible!
Which was literally one of the first covers of the issues of introducing Venom in the Ultimate was him in the shadows and that little boy with the red balloon, and he was opening up to devour him.
Brian Michael Bendis has a big symbiote boner. But this game, again, only a year after they finished Spider-Man 2, Activision goes, crank it out, get me an Ultimate Spider-Man game. Probably they were like, it needs to have Venom, because I'm sure Sony was breathing down their neck the same way they were bringing down poor Sam Raimi's neck about Venom. And so they were like, well, if we do a game where you can play as Venom, how do we do that? And I don't think they came up with the best control method for controlling Venom. And again, Venom just being a super popular character, I think that's probably what actually drove sales up for this game, because it didn't sell too poorly.
Okay, so here's an interesting fact. So, Hulk Ultimate Destruction, great freaking game, by the way, was released in August of 2005. Ultimate Spider-Man was released in September of 2005. Obviously, they were probably in development at the same time.
Who did Hulk Ultimate Destruction?
Hulk Ultimate Destruction was Sierra.
Oh, okay.
Ultimate Spider-Man was what, Activision? Yeah.
Treyarch,
yeah. No, it just says Activision, but whatever.
Well, the publisher is Activision.
Yeah.
Treyarch are the actual people who are working on the game. Yeah. Activision just sat back and was like, yeah, fucking money, Venom. Oh, yeah.
I can see them totally doing that.
Okay, I'm sorry, then the developer for Hulk Ultimate Destruction was Radical Entertainment. Sorry.
Oh, okay, cool.
Radical.
Yeah, they were behind, like, what was it, Simpsons Hit and Run and Prototype.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Prototype is so fun. I love Prototype.
But with that being said, I just have this aggravation of Venom in general in the Ultimate Spider-Man game. The way he plays, the way he controls. Yeah. I get that he's supposed to be a hulking brute, and I'm okay with that, because in the original comics, he was always a lot bigger than Spider-Man. But he wasn't so big that he felt like he should be the Hulk.
Yeah, and that's what I felt too. And I really love the fact that you could play as Venom. You could play as different characters.
I could too.
As a kid, about 12 years ago, I was really excited that I could play as Venom in a game like this, and I thought I would be able to just switch back and forth between them like crazy. But they're only just missions until you beat the game. Then you can play as Venom as much as you want, but.
And then it's just GTA.
It's kind of just boring to play as Venom. Because
it's GTA. It's cause destruction and try to survive.
GTA is good though. Well, and that
I know,
fucking idiots play GTA like that. like the missions.
I'm not saying, but that's what it is. You play as Venom, and all you do is cause havoc and try to survive as long as you can.
That's all I did in Hulk Ultimate Destruction too. So I guess that's also GTA.
It's in the name.
Ultimate Destruction. Yeah, it is. But no.
Oh, hang on. We need to back up a minute because we haven't talked about this. Why this is happening? So in this game, the way it works is that the story segments told us tale of how Peter Parker and not Peter Parker, how their fathers sort of discovered the suit thing. And the suit thing leads to bad stuff because basically the suit is pure evil. And
no, it was supposed to cure cancer.
No. I want Gray to explain it. This is much
okay. Sorry. Go ahead, Gray. Butcher the story for us.
So what happens is that they kind of fast forward to the present day, and Spider-Man has this buddy who's Venom, and Venom is not in a happy place because Venom wears a suit and he's being taken over by the suit, and the suit is doing bad things to him. And so what ends up happening throughout the story is that you tend to swap characters. So on the one hand, you're playing Spider-Man, and then you do a story segment, and then suddenly you're Venom, and you have to blow the world up, and it's like, what?
Yeah. And the Venom segment.
I also thought it was really stupid, though. Like George said, it's supposed to cure cancer. Like, wait a minute.
Yes.
Just imagine with this evil black liquid, we could stop cancer.
Okay,
everyone would be doing it. We'll just scare cancer away.
Let me back up and let me try to explain Bendis's madness.
I don't
need you to explain it. The fact is that somebody wrote a bad story. That's what happened.
Yeah,
if you can't play this game and understand it, it's bad.
I personally think that this game's story, even though it's written by Bendis, is so weak compared to the actual Ultimate Spider-Man comics. A lot of that, I think, probably has to do with this game clearly had less than a 12-month dev cycle because it came out a year after the last game they were making, and they're working in a completely new engine. They reached out to comic book creators to make the game and be in charge of it entirely for their first time, and they had so little time to do it. It's amazing the art team was able to get together what they were able to in that amount of time because I think they did an amazing job. But that's where a lot of this game's problems, I think, are from Activision going, oh god, that Spider-Man 2 game, people love that web swing, give me Venom.
Yeah. And it's unfortunately it's kind of all over the game too, because one of the things that they do is they've got these tokens that let you unlock different suits. And I think what they do, because you got to understand that I'm not a comic book guy. Okay, I don't do them because I can't read them.
I have some.
So when you're looking at these suits, what goes through my mind is that they're looking at what is going to sell copies of the game. So they pull in suits that people love, and they go, you can wear the big black Spider-Man suit.
And like, guess what you have to do to unlock the black suit Spider-Man?
100%
everything in the game. So
by the time you get
there's nothing to do. You can do random city events. It has black suit Spider-Man. That's it. Hooded Parker's the only one worth having because it's kind of cool to just fly around the city as Peter Parker with a hoodie up. But there's nothing to do in the game in
grunge clothes
anyway.
Okay, so that's that. Speaking of the costume issue, nowhere
there's
is
no
that
cheat codes to unlock them. That's the issue.
Well, what I was going to say was this is a common problem in every single Spider-Man game. Is 100% completion will always get you the black suit Spider-Man. It's because
Spider-Man 2 didn't have that. They didn't sell out to corporate jackasses.
All right, shut up.
They even had Mysterio in the game, and it was the best mission.
All right, dude, chill. But no, this is a problem commonly, especially in I'm going to say comic book games in general, but more so in Spider-Man tie-in games or Spider-Man games in general. Is this option, collect collectibles and you'll get different suits. The only time that I ever cared about that was back in the day of PlayStation 1 with those Spider-Man games that were loosely based off the cartoon show at the time, especially Spider-Man 2 Enter Electro, where you would collect different suits and then you could make your own custom suit, and depending on the pieces that you use, you would get different perks towards the Spider-Man suit that you created. So if you use like black suit Spider-Man stuff, you would get unlimited webbing. You would get
cool.
like if you use your Electro suit, you would not take electric damage.
You see, I think this game could have benefited from something like that, where you can actually kind of spec towards how you want to play Spider-Man. You somewhat can, in the way that if you do enough racing missions, you can unlock tier 2 racing missions, will let you swing faster. The more brawls you do, the more combos you can go further.
Right.
But it's so lackluster compared to a game that came out just a year previously.
It's also kind of the other problem with that is that there's only so far you can take that before it becomes tedious.
Well, yeah, and that's a problem with the core way those mechanics work, because look at the fighting alone. There's 2 buttons. You got kick and punch. What are the things you can do with those? You can kick repeatedly or punch repeatedly, but if you do more damage if you go punch kick, punch kick, punch kick, punch kick, and so that's all you do the whole game.
Well, you can grab them too. You can hit F and grab people and throw them.
Yeah, you can grab them. And you can do.
So you missed that entirely. What is wrong with you?
You can do web kicks and stuff,
Hey,
and
don't forget
they're
you can
fine.
eat people.
Yes, you can also direct to do bounce off the wall and kick somebody off a wall, and that's kind of cool.
Yeah, you can hang people from lampposts, although it's way too hard to do that.
Yep,
so,
it was way easier in a previous game. It took a button.
Yeah.
But here's the thing about the combat in the last game was
also it doesn't do you any good. I just want to throw that in there. It doesn't do you any good.
Yeah, they still get they get down somehow, right? It's stupid. But in Spider-Man 2, you earned experience as you played through the game, and you could spend certain experience on combos. And you could unlock combos. It'd be like a fighting game, like do BBAY to do this cool fighting move, do YYAB or what, you could unlock all these different combos. It was a lot more like the Batman Arkham combat, in that when his spider senses goes off, he didn't just jump out of the way. There was actually a dedicated dodge button, like the modern Batman games.
To do that, right.
But none of that was able to make it over. Just I'm sure because the programmers probably just didn't have enough time to rebuild everything.
The other thing that I also wanted to add, like with this whole thing of especially the suits, you got to understand. I've been playing like almost 2 months straight of Saints Row 3. One of the greatest things that Saints Row 3 does is that it lets you walk into stores and just buy the suits.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh,
so
cool.
if you want to sit down and you make money just to buy, costumes, you can do that. And I think that one of the problems with Superman games and Spider-Man games and superhero games in general is that they try and put the suits behind grinds, and they're not fun grinds often. And so the whole idea of having to finish things, like I was curious about seeing the black suit, so I did everything that I could.
Oh my God. I've only done that once, and I did that when this game came out because I was a kid who liked Black Suit Spider-Man.
Yep.
It took
Same with me.
Yeah, it takes a long time, I'm
my
sure.
God.
And the developers, I guess they just don't understand that.
No, they do understand.
Why would you do that? Because there's no reason to play the game anymore.
Because if this game had no side missions, you could beat this game in less than an hour. I guarantee.
No, I get that. What I'm saying is to get the black suit, you have to 100% the game.
Yes.
So there's no reason to play. If there was a new game plus,
I'm sure it was probably a last minute thing. Like the art team was like, okay, we're done. What else should we do? And they're like, make costumes. We'll put them in, and it'll be there. It'll be fine.
So I will say along those lines of what Craig was just saying was about Saints Row, where you can go and you buy costumes or whatnot.
Yeah.
Another game that did something like this that I think is probably one of the most superior thing, and there was a little bit of grinding to it, was certain suits in Red Dead Redemption. If you wanted a certain costume, you would have to find the scraps for it, and some of those scraps were like you had to do
weird places.
Yeah, you would have to either venture out and find them in a chest somewhere in the world, or you would have to kill a certain amount of animal and skin it, or whatnot. That was cool because you could technically get it done anytime in the game,
right?
Somewhat.
And also, the other thing is that makes in-universe sense. You know,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
will
right.
if you're a cowboy, you will go and skin X number of things, or you will go and scout the land. So it makes in-universe sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense for Parker to, do
Pick up
50
tokens.
50 city missions and collect 50 tokens and then go, you know what, I'm not going to wear my suit today. I'm just going to put a hoodie over my head.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
Especially when he exclaims at the first thing in the game, he exclaims, "I can't go around the city like this."
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a costume option.
Yeah.
And that's one of my problems. So again, I venture back to a much older game. Was the Spider-Man 2 Enter Electro back in the PlayStation 1 in 64 days, stuff like that. Was the fact that you could make custom suits. Now you
That's
got to
really
do
cool,
certain
actually.
things, but again, like if you used a part of, say, Spider-Man 2099 or 2099, or whatever it is, you would have
2099.
active. Yeah, 2099.
It is.
But you would have active camouflage. So it added a bit of stealth to the game. And I always feel Spider-Man games should have stealth to them. And that's the one thing that the very first tie-in Spider-Man movie did was it had...
really well. That's true. I forgot about that. There was some great
you
stealth
had
missions.
hidden shadows, and that's where the web yo-yo came in, because you could sneak down behind guys and pull them back up to the darkness.
It was cool.
So, I mean, there's elements from Ultimate Spider-Man that Ultimate Spider-Man had the potential to be even better than Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
And then
It's
they
weird.
dropped the ball.
They had so little time. It took them. It took them 2 years to do Spider-Man 2. Imagine what this team could have done with a 5-year dev cycle.
Oh yeah.
Cycle, yeah.
Oh my
It
god.
was-
That's why I'm excited about the new Spider-Man game that's going to be the PlayStation exclusive from the guys that did the last Ratchet and Clank
Exclusive.
game.
Stop the exclusivity.
Shut up! That's not the point. The point is that they've had a long development cycle on this Spider-Man game. I'm excited to see what it's going to be. It's not a tie-in to a movie. It's their own take on Spider-Man.
It's also
the thing is, I really like Ultimate Spider-Man. It's a lot of fun. It's like I said, it's creepy. I like the art. It's bright. It's colorful, which is nice.
If this had came out before Spider-Man 2, I would have liked it a lot more than I like it now. And so I think that it's kind of interesting that you do like this game a fair amount, because then I feel like if I ever let you get my GameCube, we can give you Spider-Man 2, you'd be like, oh god, oh man.
Do you still have Spider-Man 2?
I do. The only thing you're going to be really upset about is that the art style is not as timeless as Ultimate Spider-Man. To say the least.
Yeah.
So I want to go a little bit to I know we've kind of talked about this. This is more story related.
That's fine.
Please, let's talk about the story.
I think story is the last thing we have to get through. We've talked about Venom missions. We could talk more about how Alpha's mechanics are, but I think we've done that. Yeah, I think.
So I'm gonna
backstep 1 second. How terrible was that fight with Wolverine?
Yeah, that's the first boss battle you have with Venom, and they're like, Venom's all about jumping around everywhere. Let's put you in a room.
Yeah, and they stick you in a room. The only cool thing you can do is keep throwing that motorcycle at him. That's it.
Yeah,
and then try to eat him, and then he rips out of you.
Actually, let's talk about the boss battles, if that's okay, before we get into story.
Sure, yeah.
Because I think all of them with Spider-Man, I think most of them with Spider-Man are pretty damn good. I can't think of a single boss battle with Venom that I enjoyed, though.
Well, see, I only played up and through Wolverine because I couldn't stand the controls anymore.
Okay.
I've got to try it with, but I don't care about spoilers. Don't worry about that.
Okay.
I really need to try that final boss fight, because god damn it. And this is why I wanted to get in the story, but god damn it. Screw you, Bendis, and your clever versions of the symbiotes, because your Carnage makes me want to puke.
I know, it's fucking stupid. Gray, what did you think of the boss fights? You're a mechanic-y gamer, kind of like me.
Okay, so there were some that were really, really bad, and the one that I didn't, the one that I liked the least was, it's a two-phase fight where what happens is you start off in the open and everything's okay, and then suddenly the dude traps you in a box. The box has got holes in the floor, and the holes in the floor kill you.
And that's
that
with
was just
Venom.
awful.
It's where
Venom.
That's where you fight Beetle with Venom. And it's funny because you already fought Beetle with Spider-Man, and that wasn't too bad. That was kind of an interesting
That wasn't
fight.
so bad. That was alright, actually. And then you get to this point where you're like, I died a lot there.
Yeah.
And I got very frustrated.
The thing with all of Venom's fights is the best thing to do is to just always use the kick button, because you just do the tentacles from far away, and then they can't ever get close to you to do anything to you. And you just do that for 10 minutes.
So the problem with that fight is that the guy keeps zipping in and out of the box.
Yeah.
And he's impossible to glom onto.
Yeah.
And it was. Ugh.
It's annoying.
The Spider-Man fights were mostly okay. The one I think that I liked the most was the Electro fight, where he comes down and he's like, "Oh, I'm going to steal energy from here," and for a while you're like, "How do I beat this guy?" And then you think about it for a minute, and you're like, "Oh no, sorry,
that's actually a Venom fight."
It's actually a Venom fight. This is actually not a bad Venom fight.
That's the one good Venom fight, I think. Yeah.
The one good Venom fight. So what you do is, it's impossible to do properly, but what you do is you pick up cars and you toss them at electronic signage, and then the electronic signage breaks, and then you're like, oh, he can't feed from that. I'll just beat him up now.
And it's cool because it lets you figure that out. Because if this game was made today, I feel like he would suck up the energy, and then the game would tell you, break all the billboards. But in this game,
there would be like a QTE or something would come up and be like, okay, this is what you gotta do to win.
Well, at the very least, it would tell you, and I had to kind of be like, I don't remember how to beat this. And then I was trying to throw a car at him, and it hit a billboard behind him, and it went out. And I was like, oh yeah. And I just jumped to every one of them and smashed them all out.
Yeah.
I was like, that's cool. A game actually helps me figure out a boss battle. How cool.
Yeah.
I never have that happen anymore, except in Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Hey, listen.
And then most of the other boss battles for Spider-Man are okay. There's one annoying boss battle for Spider-Man where you have to... First, you have to chase the guy down, which is annoying in and of itself, because what he's doing is he's flying through the city causing havoc and rampage.
The chases.
And then once you catch him, which is annoying, because he throws up screens and crap, once you catch him, he zips around this very small area again, and you have to follow him around, and you have to beat him up. And it's just dumb.
Yeah.
Don't do that game.
Well, and it's annoying, too, because all of those are like, okay, so we're going to have a boss battle, but first we're going to have another one of our chases to pad the game out.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Can we just do a boss battle instead?
Yeah. So, like, they're up and down. They're very variable. Some of them are interesting.
Yeah.
And some of them, they're just, the developers don't look like they know what they want to do, so they're trying to throw everything at the wall. And it doesn't look like it was QA tested very well from that perspective, because there's nothing that I would remember, like even a year from now, about this game in terms of the boss battles and the boss mechanics.
And that's the thing about Spider-Man 2 is I still remember the boss battles of these.
Right.
Yeah, I will never forget Mysterio's fucking crazy
or the final fight with Doc Ock.
Oh man, that one's so good. It's so good.
And here's the problem. We're talking about a game that you guys are not even talking about on GameClub that's better than this.
I know. It's the same game, but this game is like that game with a way better art style and the same dev team. And you would think much better story writers, but they had so little time to do anything. And it's
okay, my turn. My turn.
Well, but, I mean, it's fun. It's still fun.
Yeah, it's still good, but it's a shadow of its own
Carnage.
Self.
I have to bring up Carnage.
Okay, yeah. I'm sorry.
Fucking Carnage. Fucking Carnage.
That is the most annoying Venom boss.
Original Carnage was a fucking serial killer.
Yes.
Not
Spider-Man.
not Spider-Man. And no. That is a bad Bendis. Bad.
That's a bad Bendis.
That's a Civil
War. You do that outside.
That's a Civil War II Bendis if I've ever seen one.
Oh God, yes. No, the Venom, like I was so excited at first. I'm like, oh, because early on they're hinting at Carnage. And up to that point, where I had read in the Ultimate Verse. Now, the Ultimate Verse Carnage was that crappy to begin with, anyways. The Ultimate Universe Carnage is the one that kills Gwen in the comics, and then Gwen comes back. And anyways, Ultimate Carnage is shit. The final boss fight is shit, and it literally ends with Venom like, "Oh, I'm going to eat Carnage, and then I'm going to actually become kind of the Venom that you all kind of know and love, only not really.
Yeah.
I just get a spider on my chest."
Yeah.
No.
That's it.
Mm.
But that's the final Venom battle. That's not the final battle.
Okay, but still.
Yes, it's
But
stupid.
still.
It is stupid. Let's go.
Everything about the boss battles is unfortunately underwhelming. That's the problem with it.
Yeah, there's always great ideas to them. Like when the first one is Rhino, you're like, man, they're gonna have some pretty interesting boss battles, aren't they? Because this is a pretty intricate stuff. There's a lot of mechanics going on here.
Wait a minute, is it Rhino or is it Venom? Because there's really not a difference.
There we go. The problem with these boss battles.
Well, Rhino is definitely the most different. I think Rhino and Electro are the two standout boss battles.
I shouldn't even open my mouth with this. I haven't played that far. I just feel like that's Venom. Rhino is Venom. I just feel that way. He's a big hulking beast.
All right. I think Venom's a little smarter than Rhino.
But only a little.
Only a little. All right, so let's go through the story. There's not too much to go through here.
Okay, so before you start in on the story, I just want to add one very quick thing about the story, which is very important. If you've never read a comic book in your life, the story is a mess.
Oh yeah,
Because
Yes.
it doesn't even attempt to explain anything.
No,
they bring in Silver Sable, and you're like, unless you've read the comics, who is this woman
Who is
with
this
silver
person?
hair?
Yeah.
It's the
What?
same thing with Sharon Carter. You're like, why the fuck is Nick Fury answering to anybody?
Yeah.
And there's like a whole bunch of interactions with Nick Fury and Spider-Man, and it's just flat out weird, and it's just what?
Yeah,
No.
I know. Man. Yeah, so
The story is bad.
the story is basically just a Venom origin story. It's for Eddie Brock anyway. They make a reference to Peter Parker wearing the symbiote suit, but you never see it. It never happens in the game. You never play as him at any of that point. He's just like, yeah, I had it on me for a couple hours. I was like, when? When does that happen in this game? Yeah. But yeah, so it's basically just Spider-Man or Parker. He's trying to break into a vault to get the Venom substance covered by a portion of it, gets his black suit, all that stuff. Eddie, of course, finds out, takes the suit for himself, and the first thing you confront each other in the beginning of the game on their football field, right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yep.
And you fight him for like 3 seconds, and then it's over.
Yeah, and the game's like, punch him, kick him. Okay, run away now.
Yeah, it's done as a tutorial.
With that being said, I do like Ultimate version Rhino a little bit more than Classic Rhino. Because to me it makes more sense that the Rhino suit would be, and they did that in Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Don't mention that film.
But where the Rhino suit is actually just a mech suit for a guy.
Yeah.
Like, to me that sort of makes more sense, I guess. I don't know.
But yeah, the game's basically you cut between Spider-Man and Venom.
Spider-Man and yeah.
Yes.
And the story kind of progresses as you go.
Yeah, Spider-Man fights occasional villains, trying to figure out what this Venom thing is. Slowly learning about his father had worked on it, and Eddie's trying to do the same thing. Ends up getting captured by S.H.I.E.L.D. And they're like, you know what would be great if we just let this guy go at every possible chance we could.
It would be awesome, and then you wreak some more havoc.
We're gonna pay Electro to fight Venom to see what would happen, and it turns out lots of people die in fucking town in the center of Manhattan.
And why?
Adrian Toomes being on, not Vulture. And
there's also a side plot with Beetle stealing a sample of Sandman, who never shows up in the game.
Yep.
He frees Norman Osborn as the Green Goblin.
But
Spider-Man fights.
It was clearly bait to have a sequel game that they never made.
Yes. Well,
It's
again,
weird that
I
they show
think,
Sandman a couple times
well,
too,
I
because
think
he's
it's
in the
probably,
artwork a lot.
I think it's probably because Sony probably was telling Activision stuff they need to put into this game because of what they were going to be planning for Spider-Man 3, and they were like, "Oh, I guess that Raimi guy wants to make a movie about Sandman, but we're also gonna have Venom, so put Venom in your game." He hasn't agreed to it yet, but he's gonna.
The problem is, like, and again, like, I don't read comic books, and I had no idea what I was looking at. So there's this guy, and he's stealing the Sandman thing, and they never explain the Sandman thing. I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
What is going on here? And then the other problem with that is that it just goes away.
Yeah.
There's no closure.
Yeah,
he just vanishes.
He works for the Latvarians, and then Parker's like, "What the fuck is Latvarian?" And Nick Fury's like, "Don't look that up." And then Peter's like,
and then 5 minutes later, everyone's like,
"Yeah, it's above your pay grade, Spider-Man."
Yeah, and then Nick Fury's like, "Well, I told him not to look it up, but he's Peter Parker, so he's gonna do exactly what I told him not to do." And then Peter's like, "All right, I'm gonna go to Latvian embassy." And then it explodes.
And look it up.
Yeah.
And then that's it. And then it never comes up again.
No.
Okay, we got that out of the way. Let's move on now. Yeah. That's what the story did.
Now, it's the more I talk about it, the more I see. Like, for me, it was fun to just play. Like,
it is a really fun game. It's so much fun.
But
it's not a bad
the
game.
story is shit.
Yeah.
I think they probably had a much more involved story that would actually make these plot points intertwine a bit better, but they just didn't have time to finish everything, so they probably just slapped together what was done.
And with that being said, Ultimate Spider-Man the next time Ultimate Spider-Man appears in a game is Shattered Dimensions, where you play as Peter in the black suit.
Shattered Dimensions is also awesome because every time period you're in, the art style is completely different.
Yeah. But with that being said, in Shattered Dimensions, all I want to play is Noir. So
yeah.
I'm looking at the rankings, and they're surprisingly good. I'm a little shocked, quite frankly.
For
what?
this game?
For this game.
They're a little high.
They're a little high. Okay.
2005. Not much to play out there.
No, I suppose that's true.
Where were we at?
Because like Nintendo. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, Nintendo Power would give it a 9 out of 10. That's Nintendo Power.
Why did Beetle and Venom fight? Oh yeah, Beetle is trying to get a sample of the symbiote suit, probably for Latvarians.
Yes,
which doesn't
to do something evil and mean. God knows what. But anyway, the point is that as an outsider to comic books, the story is a mess, and
yes,
there's
even
no
as somebody who understands what all these things are, I haven't read the Ultimate Spider-Man comics since they came out, and so I can't follow what this story is because it's not a direct relation to how Venom happens in that story. At all.
Yeah, you do kind of have to just go into this not caring about the story.
Yeah.
You're
like, I'm gonna just hope that there's something funny is said every once in a while.
Yeah. And there's a lot of really
quips.
funny chuckles from Peter Parker. Yeah.
I don't like his voice, but his lines are very good. I do have to give him that.
Why am I chasing Venom? I should just let him eat the mean silver lady. I think, so the game just eventually progresses to a point where Silver Sable tries to kidnap Peter. I don't remember why, but she tranks him like 50 times.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't do anything to him at all.
It's just stupid, and then Eddie gets free, and there's chaos, and oh god, it's just done.
Yeah,
did you guys notice did you guys also notice there's? I mean, I'm gonna go through a couple of billboards, but one of them is a Nokia phone commercial.
Yes.
Oh wow,
which I thought was funny.
One's an ad for Kraven's Last Hunt, and I don't know why because
in the Ultimate Comics, Kraven was a reality TV star. Yeah.
Okay.
And it was just a comic book Easter egg because in the comics he was like Steve Irwin.
Yeah.
Okay.
And in the comics there's like one issue in the Ultimate Comics. I mean, he comes in a few times in the Ultimate Comics, but the very first time was like he's like, I'm on the hunt for the most exclusive like animal, and it's all about him trying to like hunt Peter Parker in New York.
Okay.
Oh, that's
so that's what those billboards are for. It's like,
what?
Oh, if you read the comics, haha, that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
All right. And there was another one for a cruise liner that I didn't understand because it was just like, come for the view and stay forever. Like some evil, like it was some evil thing. I don't know what that's all about. But yeah, I thought the Nokia commercial was pretty funny because at the time, maybe that was a good phone.
It was at the time.
Now, yeah, what is it? The 6680 or I don't know what it is. It doesn't matter. BlackBerry essentially is what it looked like. And it's kind of funny to go back and look at that now and be like, oh yeah, I need to get one of those.
So Peter and Silver Sable fight on the bridge. It's kind of an interesting boss fight. I don't know why she's trying to kidnap him. I don't remember.
She just is. She's okay. So what happened is that the people who are holding Eddie Brock.
Yeah, and he gets out.
The people who are holding Eddie Brock are like I don't understand. The people who are holding Eddie Brock hired her to go and kidnap Peter Parker so that I think he wouldn't mess with Venom, because they didn't want Venom to get away or get out of suit or God knows what. But the point is that she chases him, tranks him. That's funny, by the way. She tranks him up the wazoo, and then there's a fight in the bridge, and the fight in the bridge isn't too bad.
No, and it's kind of interesting because she accidentally causes a bunch of damage to civilians, and then she helps you free all the civilians.
And then she helps you. Although that part is super duper irritating because you have to free them in the correct order.
I know.
Otherwise they die, and the problem with that dying is
so
you have
fast.
to fight again. You have to start the fight again. It's just the mechanics are. Blech.
Yeah. There's no good checkpoints in this game at all.
No.
But after she helps you, Venom shows up, knocks her ass out, and starts just taking her somewhere. And Peter's like, okay. And he chases after her and beats the shit out of Venom. And then the Tranks kick in because the story said they need to. And then they both get knocked out and are taken back to Trask Industries, where Eddie wakes up in his cell.
And the thing is, like, to go back to Silver Sable, she is such a obscure character to utilize in a game.
And for me, that was just like,
she had her own comic in the 90s.
What is going on?
Nobody read
because of the way she looked.
Yeah, that's it.
Not because of her character.
No.
Jesus. I don't know. So it's funny, now talking about this game, I am so much more frustrated with the game than I am when I was playing it.
That's the reason for this whole podcast. You're like, why do I like this?
Yeah.
But it is
why
fun.
Is this
it's so much
here?
fun.
Oh, good. She's apparently voiced by Jennifer Hale.
No, of course she is.
Commander Shepard herself is.
Yeah, because Jennifer Hale voices every female ever.
There's only one good female voice actress, so they only hire her.
Jennifer Hale.
Jennifer Hale. Oh, man.
But with that being said, because I brought it up earlier, the next time we see a Spider-Man game, it's been in development since 2014, and it's Insomniac Games. So it's had kind of a long, development, so hopefully it's good.
Is Jennifer Hale also...
in that one?
Is she also Mary Jane's voice?
I do not know who Mary Jane's voice is.
I mean, it just wouldn't surprise me, is all.
It's probable. Let's just assume it's her. Let's just say it's her. I don't know if it's right or not. It's her. Oh, boy. Anyway.
All right, I'm done talking about this game now.
Yeah.
Very good.
The story wraps up with basically Peter finding out about his dad and Eddie's dad, and then he's like, I need to get this information to Eddie.
I'm sad.
Eddie's just free to roam the city and nobody cares because the story's over.
And it's just like such a dead end. He's sitting on the rooftop, just Spider-Man, Peter Parker, sitting on the rooftop with his girlfriend, and he's like, Venom is somewhere out there, and his girlfriend basically says, so what?
Yeah, she's straight up is like, yeah, oh well, that's fine. What does he do? Suck the life force out of pedestrians?
That's alright.
And that's it then. But again, I mean, I can't stress how the gameplay and the game itself is not too bad, but then it's undermined by all these little things that make it kind of just an average game.
Here's the thing about it.
I've played far worse fast-tracked games.
Oh, yes.
The thing about Spider-Man games for me is, in the same way with the only decent Superman game was that Superman Returns game, and even that's a shit game. For me, like, as long as the web slinging is decent,
Yeah, and
or the
that's the
playing
problem.
mechanics. Sometimes I just like to pop in those old games once I've beaten them and just web sling around the city and do nothing. Like,
Yeah.
like for me,
And with
that's
Spider-Man
fun.
2, the web swinging, it has so many intricate little mechanics
Yeah.
that still makes that fun. In this game, there's
Not
only
so much.
there's it's such a limited version of that web swinging. It's basically just the plain physics, and that's it.
And that's the thing.
There's nothing special you can do with it.
That was my thing with Spider-Man 2. When I beat Spider-Man 2, I would pop in the game for an hour or two and just web sling around the city and just have fun. Like,
Right.
I did the same thing with the first Amazing Spider-Man tie-in to the movie. Not a good game, but all in all, I liked the mechanics for web slinging. They were nowhere near as intricate as Spider-Man 2.
Well, the thing about the Spider-Man 2 and Ultimate Spider-Man web-swinging mechanic being physics-based and all that is that Activision has a patent on it. It's about to run out, and I think that's why they delayed the new Spider-Man game, because if they have that same mechanic in there, they can't release it until that patent dies.
That is incredibly stupid.
Yep.
So I'm really interested
I'm
to
trying
see
to
what
wrap my mind
Insomniac
around how
does
they
with.
did that, but that's incredibly
Yeah,
stupid.
I know.
Oh,
It's the only time someone's gotten away with it. What would happen if someone's like, shooting in a game? I'm going to put a patent on it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna.
Yeah, I invented that.
No one else can use this but me.
only id can make games now because they made Doom.
They made Doom.
Wolfenstein.
That's it.
And Wolfenstein.
No one else can make shooters anymore. You better.
I don't know, but that since we're basically done, I just want to leave it with the fact that I am really intrigued to see what Insomniac Games does now, because they've had this long gestation period for a new Spider-Man game. Insomniac normally puts out really good games. I've heard great things about Sunset Overdrive, and they're going to be using some of the mechanics from Sunset Overdrive in the new.
I want to play that really bad. I hope it comes to PC sometime.
I think
Nintendo, not likely. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, Sunset Overdrive is Xbox.
Yeah, it will eventually.
Oh, right. Okay, sorry. I was thinking of the Squid Shooter.
Yeah, I'm also interested in that because they're not going to tie it to any film or comic.
Yeah.
They're just making up their own story. So,
And they already said, like, Spider-Man, this one is going to be a seasoned superhero. So, like, I don't know, maybe some of the grinding to learn new moves we won't have to do, you know?
Can I get Annie Mae as an unlockable character? Can I just have a kid? That would be great.
Anyway, so do we want to...
Annie is Peter Parker's kid. For the
I know.
I think you should be able to play as Spider-Gwen, personally.
No.
I think Spider-Gwen...
No.
Why not? Spider-Gwen's
Because,
cool.
no.
She's... I mean...
Her costume's cool, but no.
Yeah, her costume's cool. If they actually made a game about her and her world, that would be great, because her comics haven't explored her alternate reality at all. They're just like, this is the world where Gwen got bit by the radioactive spider and not Peter. It changes everything.
Peter's the lizard.
Yeah, and so what are we going to do with her? We're going to put her in the regular universe and never touch on that interesting universe at all. Like, what? What are you talking about?
So do we want to roll for round... This is our third or fourth round now.
Yeah. It's the fourth round, right?
Yeah, I think this is our fourth round.
It's the fourth round.
All right. Jason, do you want to talk about what your pick is, what your nomination is?
Sure, as much as I know about it. I haven't actually played this game yet. This is Abzu. It's a very short, sort of journey-ish type of game, I guess, where you're a diver in the ocean.
People who made Journey. And I think Austin Wintory is on again as the soundtrack guy.
Yeah, so the music's bound to be good. I mean, it looks very pretty. I haven't got a chance to play it yet because I've been playing Grim Dawn forever. And
Grim Dawn for a while.
We'll likely
I'm going to warn you up
play.
front that there are problems with Abzu's game, but the experience is going to be interesting.
Well,
I'm
interesting
interested
because
in that.
the art director of Journey is the creative director on this game. The guy who came up with mechanics and stuff for Journey is still at that game company, which is called That Game Company. I'm not just being facetious. Right. So it's interesting to just see the entire, like, in the art side of that particular game make its own game. And Austin Wintory, of course, he did come over and do the soundtrack for Abzu as well. So yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Pick.
Yeah,
I've been
I'm
looking
interested
forward
in
to playing
see.
that too.
I'm interested to see this like just kind of artsy, chill, kind of fun game. I guess it's only a couple hours
exactly
long.
what it is.
Yep.
That's the way, the best way to describe it.
Yeah, I think it'll be cool.
Cool.
So that's why I nominated it. And then, like I said, I haven't played it yet. I will. I don't know. I'll write a little thing and specify that. Just we're gonna learn this one together. It'll be cool. Yeah.
Great. Do you want to talk about your pick?
Sure thing. I'm picking Primordia. Primordia is a point-and-click adventure. It's all brown. I've argued about all brown before, and it's a problem. But in this case, the all brown works for the game.
It
because
fits
it's set
the
in a
atmosphere. It looks
post-apocalypse.
like. Yeah.
Dystopian.
Yeah, it's set in a post-apocalypse. The post-apocalypse doesn't feature humans at all. It's got lots of robots, and the robots are sentient and they talk, and it's about their origin story, why they are sentient and why they do the things they do.
Did they cause the apocalypse?
I'm not going to tell you.
Like they caused
Wow, and this game was actually, not that old.
Yeah.
No, it's not at all.
I like that the like I
It's
don't
a
know, maybe
modern
the
game.
first line is everyone's dead. It's just like that.
Everyone is. There is not a human alive, but it's what I hope people will like is the interaction between the two protagonists, because
Yeah, it looks
that's
cool.
very
I'm interested to play it.
right,
Sweet. Yeah.
and that's Primordia.
All right. And True Legend Killer.
This is a little bit different. I'm too like screw choosing something I haven't played yet, but I've wanted to play. I actually picked it up on Steam sale, so pick it up now. It's cheaper. I'm choosing a game called Origami. It's an action adventure stealth game. You're basically a ninja with supernatural abilities.
I love the art style, by the way.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
art
it
style is
does look
really
good.
beautiful.
The
It's
art
actually
style's
the reason
It-
it caught my eye.
It looks like a stealth game with Tron people.
Yeah.
Yeah. With that being said, for fans that ever played the Tenchu games, it's been many years since we got a Tenchu game, and apparently a lot of people are kind of saying it's more of an indie version of Tenchu. Not as great, but I don't know. I wanted to try this. I wanted to pick something that Gray would be able to play because the last 3 times
I haven't been playing your shooters.
Every time you guys pick a stealth game, I'm a happy motherfucker. It's my favorite genre, so I can't.
Yeah,
I can't
so
complain.
I wanted to pick something that had a nice art style. I don't know about gameplay. I don't know about anything about this game other
I don't
than
either.
I've wanted to play it.
I know that it looked really pretty and the trailer was cool, and I've wanted it. So now
And I've never heard of the developer.
There was a dude in the trailer called Mr. Something. What's his name? Let
Mr.
me
Something,
get
what's
it.
his name?
Mr. Something. What's
That's
his
what they
name?
call me.
That's very descriptive. I know.
That's what they call me.
Mr. Something. What's his name?
Whenever I
No,
walk
his
into
name
my
is
favorite
Mr.
bar, they
Jura.
go, "Hey, it's Mr. Something. What's his name?"
His name is Mr. Jura, and
I can
he's
literally
it's-
walk into anywhere and they'll say that.
It's
like
developed by
everyone
a
knows me.
company that literally just has a Tumblr page.
wow.
Oh, I'm scared now.
It's gotten
know
decent
anymore.
reviews. It's gotten decent reviews. That's why
What's the
I picked
company's
it up.
name? I'm just
I
gonna
closed
look up
out of it.
Origami.
I don't know. It did look fun. And
It
yeah,
looks
I've
pretty.
heard some good
I'm
stuff
willing to
about
play something that looks pretty and try it and see if it's okay.
Lintz Works.
I mean, I'm always willing to try the games. I don't necessarily.
Yeah,
mean I'm gonna end up playing
it's
them.
not. It wasn't too expensive. I picked it up on Steam sale.
Yeah, it looks.
It has a free DLC costume set and the.
Their website's just a Tumblr blog.
I told you.
It'll be okay if you don't want
Cody's
to. If
dying.
you don't want to play it, if you don't want to play it, just watch it.
Oh no, I'm
Do
gonna
what I
play it.
do.
I love stealth games.
It's got a 70 on Metacritic and it has mostly positive
reviews.
reviews.
Scores don't mean shit. I
Yeah.
like stealth
It's-
games. I'll tell you if this is a good one once I play it.
It says overall on Steam rated very positive. So
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I've
You know-
heard good stuff about it. I think it's a good show.
and if you scroll down the comments section, it's all thumbs up. There's very few
Yeah, very
negatives.
very positive. Yeah.
There's only 102 negatives. So
Yeah. Cool.
out of 1,100.
Yeah,
Destroy the negatives.
I would like any of these games to be picked, and one of them will be.
Nobody gets that joke with me and Gray.
We haven't talked about
wait, you have to talk about yours.
I'm not nominating a game this round because I don't want my game to be picked after we just play.
Well, you should nominate it and then just take your.
You should nominate it, but
name your game, but just take it out of the roll.
I'm going to be nominating Invisible Ink. This will be the second clay game that we've played at Game Club.
Okay.
This is a very strange stealth game.
What was the first one?
Mark the Ninja.
Oh, Mark the Ninja. Okay, sorry.
That amazing ninja game,
which is an amazing stealth game and arguably the most accessible stealth game out there. This one, not so much. This is a turn-based strategy game that is focused entirely around stealth. So it plays like XCOM, but instead of it being a skirmish fighting game, it's stealth.
Right.
It sounds complicated.
It's not at all.
It's not.
Okay.
It's it's not. You're not playing.
The game has a very good tutorial.
You're not playing EU4. You're gonna be fine. It's turn-based too. So
the reason we're telling you all this right now.
I'm gonna go ahead and spoil this right away. Even if you win, you lose in that game. You cannot win.
You can't win the first one. It's strange as well because the first time you try to play the story, you will lose. But you keep everything you have, and then you try to beat it again.
And then you do it again, and then you.
So
you
it's
win.
Dark Souls.
No.
Really.
No. Dark Souls, you can actually win your first time, but you need to be good. Yeah. You got to get good.
Sorry. Good.
So the reason that we're bringing this up, and hopefully, Yoda will get this up, before the end of the day, is the Steam sale is currently still going. Every game that we have nominated is on sale right
Steam.
I think the most expensive game is probably mine.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a bad habit of choosing the most expensive games.
This today, by the way, is the 1st. It is January 1st. Happy New Year. The sale on Steam will only be going on until tomorrow. Yeah. Tomorrow morning, it's gone.
Yeah.
So if it's the 2nd or the 3rd when you're watching this, you can flip us off, and we can't even see it. So go ahead.
Yeah.
Please.
So so if he gets that up, in the next few hours, and you guys listen to this, you have time to go and capitalize on the Steam sale.
Yep.
All these games are under $20. Mine is the most expensive, I think, at
13.
What was it? 13? Yeah.
You son of a bitch.
I know. I know.
Gray has the cheapest as usual at $2, and then the other two are $6. So. But yeah,
Gray's usually like, if it's free, I want it.
Let's find out what game if they can only afford $10 in games, then hey, let's find out what they should be doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ready to roll?
Yeah. Well, initially I think that's what we were doing anyway, but we sort of skipped that rule.
So if we roll a 1, it's Abzu, 2 is Primordia, and 3 is Origami. We're not rolling for 4 because I already did my game. So we rolled a 3, Origami.
Oh. Wow. Okay. I will try to. I don't know what I'm going to write up because I don't know anything about the.
Just specify that. I was just planning the same thing. I'll just be like, hey, this game looks fun. Let's learn it together.
Okay. All right. So for next time for Game Club, I don't know how long this game is. I don't know if it's level based. Just play and
play for a while, and we'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it. And if we like it, then we'll keep playing and finish it out. I don't think it's that long.
Beat Origami.
He's gonna look it up. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we have the.
I was forgetting about that site.
Yeah, everyone knows now. Main story 5 hours. Main story plus extra 10 hours. Average 8 hours. So probably 2 weeks. Yeah, we'll just play what we can.
Before we do that, when we do actually get around to playing your game, Yoda, must we get contingency plan as well?
What do you mean?
What?
Contingency plan is DLC, but I don't know how much it extends the game.
Just get the regular game. I don't have any of the DLC, or maybe I have all of it because I kickstarted.
It doesn't matter though.
I think when I bought it, it came with the DLC.
Okay. I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
I got a GOG version, and I don't know. It seems like it might come with some extras, but it doesn't matter. I don't know.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to install Origami.
Wish you would.
Yeah, jeez, I wish you would. Hurry the fuck up and install it.
Are you done yet?
I've already beaten the game. I'm ready to review it right now before we even end this video.
Okay, so we will see you guys next week. We are going to be playing the stealth action ninja game Origami.
The stealth action.
I like how you don't even know what your game's name is.
Shut up!
Yeah, we have no idea.
You don't know me. You don't know where.
That's my stripper name. Stealth Action Ninja.
So yeah, Origami next week. True Legend will have the post up there. Thank you guys for watching our Game Club episode on Ultimate Spider-Man. I would recommend it, but you can't buy it anymore. So, and it's certainly not worth $99 for a used copy.
No, definitely not.
Dear God, no.
It's fun. It's fun. Just watch a video. You'll be okay with it. It's fun.
Yeah, we do have one up on the Twinstiq site if you want to check out how the game looks and plays.
99.
Oh, and you can find playthroughs on.
Yeah,
Anyway.
YouTube's got lots of stuff. Yeah,
Thank you, Internet, for watching. Good night and good game.
Yeah, bye.
Stay geeky.
Bye, folks.